I'll probably do a video very soon to explain why I've not been uploading that often, but before I get to that, it's been a while since I've been to CEX. It's been just as long since I've even looked at the website. So as it is pretty cold outside right now, and let's be quite honest, I'm lazy, I'm going to look at the website to see what the prices have done, what my locals have had in stock, what they don't have in stock anymore, and whether the 360 prices have gone up or down, and I may look at a few other platforms as well. So I have selected just 2 of my local CEX stores to see what they've had in stock and to get a sort of bigger pool, if you will, so we can look at the prices. Now, they've got quite a lot of special editions in stock. Most of these are actually my local, so the one that I can actually walk to. The Fallout New Vegas Collector's Edition, they're £170, traded in with the Fallout 3 Special Edition, I believe. That's now 85. That's come down actually by about 15 quid. I don't know how long it's taken to get to that point, but I remember having that at launch, had it for a very long time, sold it, and then found another one and sold that as well, both of which sold for about 90 quid each. And I sold mine quite cheap, considering what CEX were trying to get at the time as well. Moving down here, the one painful thing on this page right here, well, 2 painful things I suppose. First of which, this here, the X-Men Origins Wolverine. I saw this for $7.99, promotional copy as well. For those of you who don't know, I collect promo copies on the 360. I saw it for $7.99 in a retro video game store. I would say not that long ago. I mean, it was long enough now that it isn't there anymore, and if it is there, they've upped the price. But for $7.99, I didn't buy it because I'm stupid. To be quite honest, I don't have another reason why I didn't buy it. I did have this Splinter Cell Conviction limited edition once upon a time as well. I used to have a lot of limited editions. I used to buy them at launch for absolutely no reason, just because they look cool. Played the game, absolutely hated it. Well, maybe hate's a strong word. Didn't really like it, if I'm honest. I don't know what happened to it, actually. I don't think I traded it in. I wouldn't have done that. I probably just sold it. The other painful one is Saw 2. Once upon a time, this was 18 quid, maybe even less than that. I did have very old footage. I doubt I could find it now, but I think it was about 15, 18 once upon a time. Knew I needed it, and now it's 35 quid. And to cap it all off, the game isn't actually that good. It pains me when that happens to a video game. You need it for the collection, because I have the first one, and the first one's actually a good game. The second one is not a particularly good game, and yet that's the one with the value. Makes no sense. Simpsons is now up to 30. That just keeps on trickling. Again, that was sub 20 quid not that long ago in the grand scheme of things, and it's now made its way up to 30. 50 Cent Blood on the Sand came down not that long ago. I thought it was actually dropping off in value. Finally, the game was going to go back down to a respectable price, but it had a resurgence. Now it's up to 32. It is quite fun to play, in all honesty, so I can kind of understand why that one is 32. What else can I notice here that maybe I didn't notice before? The New Vegas Ultimate Edition up to 30. I think that was, I say up to 30, I think it's come down, because I think it was 45 when Fallout, the series came out and all the prices went crazy. I think it's actually come down to 30, but it used to be like 20, 22, and then the Fallout 3 like Ultimate Game of the Year edition or whatever it was called was around 15 for a while. I may see that on the list at some point. Family Guy back up to 25. That sort of hovers between 18 and 25 anyway. It's now at the highest point, so we'll see if it continues to go up from there. There are quite a few of these games, I would imagine, that have moved in price and that I'm not going to know of them, so I tend to check just my local CEX to see what's in stock and what the prices do, etc. So some of these games, for example, Venetica, I never see that game in stock in my local, so I've got no idea if £25 is the standard price for that. That may have gone up 15 quid in the last 2 days. I've got no idea. So if you know if any of these prices have jumped up or down in the last few weeks, I would say, let me know in the comments. As we move on, that's the most expensive Guitar Hero you can buy. Greatest Hits at 22, which I don't even know what's on that one. I'm pretty sure I've played it, but they all sort of blend into one after a while, and that might be the most expensive Cabela's, and ironically, one of the only ones I've actually played. Back in the day, I was okay with it. Now, it just feels a bit wrong going in and hunting. I don't exactly support hunting anyway, even in video games, so I don't know why. It's just a thing. I don't know why hunting games really exist, if I'm honest. So, Beautiful Katamari, again, a bit of a painful one. I remember being in CEX, seeing that for a tenner and thinking, that'll come down, surely. Nope, goes up. Doubled, in fact. 20 quid is still not terrible, because it is actually a really fun game. I had this, Dark, right? I had this on the 360, sealed, a couple of years ago, and I could not get rid of it for love nor money. I think I ended up selling it for about £12. Now it's 20 quid to buy, second-hand. I dread to think how much I could get for that sealed. To be honest, I could probably get like 50 quid or something. It's probably nothing astronomical. I don't think I could retire off the proceeds. But it's really difficult to even find this game. You never see it anywhere. If you type in Dark Xbox 360, the first thing that comes up is not even this game. I don't know anything about it. I'd never even heard of it, but I saw it in a boot sale. I think it was a boot sale, sealed for like 2 or 3 quid. And I thought, well, I've got to get that. And then it turns out I could get like 7 quid for it anyway. So I thought, oh, that's a bit of a bust. If I just waited, yeah, well, hindsight's a wonderful thing. So as we move down, London 2012 has come down to 18. It did go up to like stupid money, like 25, 30 quid. Then it came down to 22, stayed there for a while. Now it's 18. It will continue to drop. There's no way that game stays high. There were plenty of them, loads of supply. It's just the fact that it's, many people would argue it's the best Olympic game on the 360. I don't agree with that. I think Beijing 2008 is the best Olympic game on the 360 because there's no limitations to you sprinting, for example. But big YouTubers play this, of course, so that's why it's held its price. 18 is still mad. Sonic the Hedgehog is 18. Again, that's a little bit mad, if you ask me. I feel like that should be lower. This is interesting, though. Street Fighter 4 Collector's Edition. I have to look into that to see whether that is my local or whether it's the other store that I have selected here, because that is not bad. Again, I remember when that came out. I don't think I bought that. I think there were 2 versions of it. I think one with, is it Chun-Li on the front? And then I think if you turn it around, you get, I can't remember what it was. I think there was 2 versions of it though. Maybe one with Ken or Ryu or something. Either way, 18 quid for that. I think I'd happily buy that, if I'm honest. It would look kind of cool on the shelf as well. As we scroll down, Lord of the Rings Conquest has shot up to 15. That was 8 for the longest time, and then maybe 10. And now it's all of a sudden it's 15 quid. Spec Up the Line somehow holding 15. It's not a good game. I don't know why it went up in the, well, I do know why it went up in the first place. Of course, they were taking it off Xbox Live and everybody panicked because, you know, you do. But the fact that it's still 15 is absolutely mental. Spider-Man 2 still at 15 is quite surprising. I thought that would have gone up by now. Cursed Crusade, that one is in my local CEX. I've seen that. That was in just before I think it was about a month ago, the last time I was actually in my CEX, and I saw it there, and it was brand new in them. They'd had it traded in recently, and it's still there by the looks of things. Moving along, Air Conflict, Vietnam. This is a game I wanted to buy, again, about a month ago, and it was a tenner. Then it went up to £12 very quickly after that. Should have bought it at £10, because now it's 15 quid. So that's gone up, which is a shame. Worms, the Revolution Collection. I don't know much about this, and I don't know how different that is to just the standard Worms collection. I have that, of course, promo copy. I think, well, it's bound to be on the list somewhere because it's not that uncommon, so maybe we'll stumble upon it, maybe we won't, but 15 quid for that one. Hellboy, that might have gone up recently due to is it the new film? I don't think it's going to be received very well, or has been received very well, but I believe there is a new property to go along with it, so maybe that will either go up, or maybe it has already gone up. If you know, let me know. Need to Be Carbon has come down by 3 quid, because that was 15 last I remember. And there you go. So Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition now back down to 12, and that is where I think it should be. Not to say that it's not worth 12, because it absolutely is worth 12. It's worth 40. It's such a good game, and you get a lot of value out of it, but the fact that the TV series spiked all the prices meant that this went up to like 25 quid once upon a time. So now that it's back down to 12, absolutely the price I'd be willing to pay to pick that up. Really, really good game. Don't think anything else is there that I didn't notice. And there we go. So the Worms collection on the next page is £12. I paid, I think, 15 for that promo copy, which I'm happy to pay. I don't mind the fact that I've paid £3 over the odds for it. I bought it in CEX, so it has come down in price to 3 quid. And you've got a couple of other games there, of course, the limited, I think it's the tin for Gears of War. There was a Gears of War 2 special edition on the other page for 12 quid as well. Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel, I've never played it. £12. Is that the most expensive one? I feel like that is the most expensive Army of Two. I've only ever played the first one. I think I say that. I think I might have dabbled in the second one for like 20 minutes or so. But the first one was fun, but it's only fun if you have someone to play it with. If you're playing it with the AI, it's going to be a rough time. Scrolling down, just trying to find something that I really noticed the price of. Wet has surprised me massively, actually, because that's now only 10 quid. Trades in for 6, cash is 4. I have the receipt in my Wet, and it's £2 I paid for it, which is absolutely crazy. So really happy that that's kind of gone up in a way, because I've quote unquote made money on it. But I thought it was going to fly. That and the Saboteur were sort of going hand in hand with each other. They kept going up together. I don't know where the Saboteur is now, but £10 for that is an absolute bargain. It is such a good game, and it will be on a lot of people's lists of like underrated games, but that's because it is. It's not a game you see people talk about that often. Absolutely go and get and play it if you haven't. Even if you have done and you haven't played it for a while, just go and get it and play it again. This page is interesting. So The Walking Dead Survival Instinct, £10. Again, that one, I say much like The Simpsons, is obviously nowhere near the price of The Simpsons game now, but that is creeping up, and it's only like £1 or £2 every now and then, but it doesn't dip back down. When I picked it up, I bought it for £1 in a boot sale, and I thought, well, maybe I'll trade it in. And at the time, it only really traded for like 2 or 3 quid. And I thought, well, I'll keep it, because you know, it's not that much profit. It's Walking Dead. I do like The Walking Dead for the most part. It does really badly fall off in the later seasons, but I like the universe as a whole, so yeah, I'll keep it. Never played it, incidentally, so if you have done, let me know what you think of it. Should I actually put it into the console, or is it there just as a collector's piece? But it does keep trickling up, and now it's at 10. How long will it be before it goes even further, if at all? Who knows? Toy Story, still £10. Last time I bought it, as if I buy it 3 times a week. I bought it for £10 a month or so ago, still 10 quid. Singularity was 15 about a month ago. It's come down to 10 now, so decent. It's a good game as well. Again, it's probably one of those that would be on most people's underrated lists. If you want me to do those type of videos, by the way, like most underrated games, because I've played a lot of games on the 360. I've played a lot of games in general, obviously, but 360 is sort of my console, if you will. So if you want me to do that kind of list of games I think are underrated, let me know, because I would be very interested in doing that. Singularity, okay, won't be on the list now because I've mentioned it here, but I would probably consider that to be one of those big underrated games. Enemy Front, still £10. I bought that a long time ago now, and it was £10 then. Leisure Suit Larry is a game I honestly thought would fly over time. There are a few of these, of course. I can't remember how many there are on the 360, maybe 2. One of them is quite expensive, and in general the Leisure Suit Larry games do tend to go up in price. There are 1 or 2 of them that are really expensive, and in turn then, like Spider-Man, like Transformers, the others tend to go up in price because people can't afford to buy sort of the bigger ones, you know, the £50 plus ones, so they go for the next one in line. It's why Carbon tends to fluctuate a lot. People can't afford to buy Most Wanted, so they'll go to the next best thing, which is Carbon. Although in my opinion, Carbon better than Most Wanted. So £10 for that is a little bit surprising. You've got the tin of Battlefield Bad Company. I'm really looking to find that. It's not something that I will go out of my way to buy. Like, I won't go on eBay and buy it or anything. I am looking to pick it up in a CEX, use a voucher for it, of course, but it needs to be in good condition. Although saying that, I've never seen one in a CEX. I see other people find them all the time. I can never find them. Although I'm looking at it here, so it's in one of my stores. The other one I very rarely go to, because even though it's local, it's like within 10 miles. I just never go to that city for whatever reason. Anyway, moving along, nothing that really stands out. Portal 2 at 8 quid is such good value for money. I never really got into Skate. I know a lot of people consider Skate to be the superior skateboarding game. I mean, they're wrong, but people do have that opinion. But I say they're wrong as if I've ever played them properly. I just couldn't get into them. Tony Hawk is where I will always hang my hat, if you will. Midnight Club Los Angeles, again, a game that people hold in very high regard. I tried playing through it, and for whatever reason, I'm not a fan. Like, it's fine, but it's not, I don't know, I think I needed to have played it back in the day, really. I think playing through it now, I can just see, not of glaring mistakes or anything, it's just that I've played Burnout Paradise, and I've played other games like it. Okay, this was first, obviously, but it's just one of those where I just prefer other types of games in that genre. So forgive me, please. Condemned, I need to pick it up. £8 I feels like it's a bit high. It's not really, but it feels like it's a bit high. I think that might have gone up recently. Juice 2 is a bit surprising at £8. That's good value for money. Not that it's a particularly amazing game or anything, but it's one of those where I would have expected it to go up by now. Operation Raccoon City tends to fluctuate between 6 and 8. It's on the higher end of that right now. Wolfenstein does exactly the same thing, although it's more 6 and 10, but it's now somewhere in the middle at £8, which again, unbelievably good value for money, because that is the best Wolfenstein game I have ever played. I absolutely adore that. I was really happy to pick mine up for £6 in my local CEX. So if you can find that and you don't have it, maybe you've never played it, definitely worth picking up. Resident Evil Revelations has gone up in price recently. That was, I think, £5 not that long ago. Definitely 6, no more than that. It's now up to 8. Resi games on the 360 seem to be creeping slightly. I do keep my eye on them because I do want to pick them up, and then I never do, and then they go up in price and I complain about it. Blood Bowl, my days, that brings back some memories. I knew nothing about this game when it came out, and worked in Game Station at the time, bought it, $39.99 I paid. Obviously I got discount on top of that, of course, but I went home, I had absolutely no idea what was going on, no idea what I needed to do. I think I got about 10 gamer score off it, gave up and took it back the next day because I didn't know what it was. I think it's basically like a turn-based thing, but I just didn't know anything about that universe. This is a great game. Up. Disney's Up. Never see it, although now it is in my local. So I do need to go and get that because I have been looking for that for a while. There are a few Disney games that I would really like to pick up, Brave being another one. Really like that game. And I never see them, so the fact that my local has this means I need to get going. For all I know, this was traded in yesterday, so I do need to go and pick that up. Should have done it today really, but it wasn't just the weather. It was I needed to be in for not a delivery, the reverse of it. What's the reverse of a delivery? A pickup? Collection. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't think there's anything else here that I'm really noticing that are like massively changed in price. Rayman Origins I think might have gone up £1. Test Drive, it tends to go up a little bit, then come back down a little bit, but it's always in and around that sort of 4 to 6. But it's such a good game. I know the new one is out now. I don't know anything about that, whether that's good or not. The fact that I've not heard anything about it probably suggests that it's not a great game. But the first one and the second one, although I do have gripes with the second, the first one was such a breath of fresh air in that sort of genre of sort of racing games. A really, really fun game. And I think it still holds up today as well, to be fair. I don't know why. I absolutely do not know why, but I love this game. Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. I'm actually quite interested in history in that sense. I'll watch sort of reenactments, documentaries and that thing. I've not got any qualifications in history. I didn't do any history in school past like GCSE or anything. And even then, my teacher was absolutely useless. I say that now. Maybe she wasn't useless, but I didn't really learn much of anything in history. I've learned it all since leaving. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I was a terrible student. Who knows? But I love this, and I know Sherlock Holmes isn't real before anybody starts saying, you love history, Sherlock Holmes isn't real. You do, I know, but this game, I don't know why it stands out above all the rest. I really like this game. Maybe it was because of how easy it was to get the 1,000 points. I've got no idea. But if you've never played a Sherlock Holmes game, go and pick this up. £6 is a bargain for that. I don't see anything else there worth talking about price-wise that I know of. Open season at £6. Easy for Gamerscore if you're interested, but in terms of the price, it's always around there. One of the games that has surprised me and not annoyed me because it just means people can buy it more affordably, but Truck Racer. I bought this and I knew sod all about it. I'd never seen it before. I've owned it for a while now, maybe even a year at this point, maybe even longer, who knows. I think it cost me £10 in CEX. It was like new. It was like the cellophane had been taken off it and then they put it on the shelf. The disc was immaculate. It was perfect, and I thought, wow, never see it, and I've got one in immaculate condition. This game is going to start to go up. I can see this going into like a £20, £25 game, just because you don't see it that often. And as soon as I buy it, it's everywhere. I see it in every CEX. It's really frustrating when I predict things and it doesn't go my way. But either way, it doesn't matter. I own the game. If you haven't played it, you're not missing much, if I'm honest. Bolt at £6. I put off buying that actually because that did go up to 10 quid at one point, came down to 8, and now it's come down to 6. And then you have to ask yourself a question. Do you wait to maybe come down to 4 or 5, or do you just go and buy it for 6? Don't know, but I would like to own it. It's one of those other Disney ones that I would like to own. I don't know, I think I've only ever seen that film once actually, but for some reason it sticks in the memory. I know a lot about that film, and I think I've only ever seen it once. Have you ever watched a film that you can almost recite certain lines from, but you've only ever seen it maybe once or twice? Lots of Lego games on this page. You've got Army of Two, 40th Day, Split Second down there at £5, which of course is a good game. For some reason I find that sticks in the memory as being better than Blur, but people always tell me that I'm wrong, and I may be, I don't know. I have played Blur since saying that, and it is a lot better than I thought it was, so maybe I do need to go back and play Split Second. It's not a game I own actually, because again, I don't see it that often. Flat Out Ultimate Carnage, not a game that I massively enjoy, but at £5 you can't go far wrong. I picked up Cars 2 not that long ago for £5 actually. I think that's probably my most recent pickup on the 360, but mine, of course, was a promotional copy. I actually did go into the Cardiff CEX not that long ago, maybe it was about a week ago now, just on the off chance I'd see something. There was quite a few promo copies of this, Sonic Freeriders, but it does require the Kinect, and I'm not in the market for picking up games I can't play, so I left that alone. I'm not really seeing much of anything else. We're down into the sort of lower prices now of games, and I do look at these, but I don't tend to sort of focus on the prices of them. Once I hit that sort of £6-5 range, I tend to sort of block it out a little bit, because these are games you can buy on a bit of a budget really. Monsters vs Aliens has come down though, because that was 6, so it's now 5, so that definitely has come down. Eat Lead, still £5. So surprising to me, because that is such an over-the-top fun game that just doesn't take itself too seriously. I talked about it not that long ago when I picked it up. To see it there for £5, I mean, such good value for money. You'll get a lot of laughs out of that game. Moving on to a page full of Saints Row, Max Payne's and Assassin's Creed. I tell you what, that Max Payne 3 game, that is also one of those underrated games as well. You don't see many people talk about that. It's Rockstar, it's full-on action, really, really good, well-written game. And it's only £4, and it only ever is £4 as well. I had a bunch of those that I bought in a boot sale, very, very, very cheap, and like they were all sealed, and I could not sell. I think I sold them all in the end for like £10 each. But the fact that they were brand new and sealed, and this game is over a decade old at this point, even older than that, and it just couldn't shift them. And even now, if I had them, I probably couldn't shift them for much more than say 10 or 12 anyway. So it's just crazy. That game is criminally underrated. Rogue is now down at 4. Finally had a price drop. It did go up to 8 at one point, and I begrudge paying that. But now that it's down at 4, it's the only one I need to complete my collection, or my subset, I should say. So yeah, I definitely need to pick that up if that's the one that's in my local, not my not ever visit local. Enslaved has come down to 4. It did start to creep up, and I thought, here we go, because I picked it up thinking that it would maybe start trickling upwards, and it did. Now it's back down to 4, which I think is roughly the price I paid for it. Call of Juarez is now up to 4. I'm pretty sure that was £2.50 once upon a time. Correct me if I'm wrong. I probably am wrong. That game never changes price. Is it Il 2 Stormvik Birds of Prey? Never really know how to say it, but that has been £4, I think, since I was about 16. It just does not shift in price, ever. I say that, right? You watch tomorrow, they'll move the price. Hey, Football Manager 2007, you never see that in stock, and it's only £4. The 2008 version, I don't know how much it is these days, because it of course isn't on this list, it's not in stock, but that is the expensive one on the 360. But 2007, if I saw that in my local for £4, I would be buying it. FIFA Street 3 for £4 as well, not bad. And I think that might be where I sort of call it a day, because I'm not seeing anything that I would really notice has shifted a lot in price. I was kind of half expecting things to have gone through the roof. Certain things have indeed gone up in price. I've never seen that. Gears of War double pack, £1, £2, £3.50. You could probably get them just as cheap, if not cheaper, separately. But I suppose if you're in the interest of saving space. Oh, Stick of Truth is down to 3. I think I bought that when it was 4. because I was just worried it was going to continue to trickle up, because of course the Xbox One version is expensive, and yes, gone the other way, because I'm not very good at predicting things. By the way, next video will be a price can you imagine? After showing myself up in this video, I'm going to do a video predicting the Xbox 360 prices. I don't think anyone can accurately predict what is about to happen with these games. That's good value for money. Burnout Paradise Ultimate Box, of course, it is available as a remaster on the later consoles, and it's a really good experience. I played it properly for the first time, I suppose, not that long ago, maybe 6 months ago. Sat down to really give it a go on the PS4. Stopped myself actually from finishing it because I wanted to do it on the Xbox One, and then haven't found it on the Xbox One physical. I think it is available via Game Pass, but I want it physical, so I'm waiting to find it, but I can't. Sleeping Dogs, £2.50. Of course, you will get the best experience on the Xbox One or indeed the PS4. However, if you're desperate to play it, £2.50. Arguably one of the most underrated games, but probably the biggest bargain I've seen today, £2.50. That is a masterpiece for £2.50. I mean, if you're not too bothered about graphics and maybe load times and things like that, the Xbox 360, and I suppose the PS3 goes hand in hand with this as well, because a lot of the PS3 games are really cheap, and I'll keep banging this drum, and you know what I'm going to say. The Xbox 360 and the PS3, I mean, they are the best consoles to collect for right now, because you've got that sort of, we're at that point, and we'll cut away now because I'm basically done. We're in the dregs of the 360. So we're at that point now where the 360 has good graphics. It's not like anywhere near the PS4 or indeed the PS5 or Series X or anything. Of course, you can absolutely tell the difference. But we're at that point where if you go back to the PS2, things look janky, they're not great. If you move up to the 360, there are games, LA Noire for example, I mean, they're cutting edge. Even now, they beat out some modern games. They look better than a lot of modern games. So Sleeping Dogs, for an example, right, it's not a remaster, it's just the next gen version. So it's going to run better, it's going to look better, fine. And if you buy it physical from CEX, I think it's about 15 quid right now. It comes with like a booklet and a sleeve and everything. And I think it might be the definitive version, so you get DLC and everything. But forget that, if you just want the base game, £2.50 on the 360. Yes, load times are going to annoy you slightly here or there, but guess what? I mean, you just sit there and wait and enjoy the fact that you're alive, and then when it comes on, you get to play it. Yes, the graphics not quite as good, but there's not that much difference really. You can absolutely immerse yourself in it, and you understand what's going on, and you can enjoy it. £2.50. For that 15 quid that you were going to buy that one game for on the Xbox One, you can get Sleeping Dogs for £2.50. You can get Bioshock for another £2.50. That's £5. You've saved a tenner. You have two banging games. And if you have that £10 left over that you want to spend, you can go buy a bunch of other games. Because I'm on the page now of £2.50 games. You've got Darkness, fantastic game. Call of Juarez, which is the second one, so if you've not played the first one, maybe you don't want to do that. Another banging game down here, £2.50. Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. That is a cracking game. Okay, maybe not on console, but Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars, if you're into RTSs, one of the best ever made. It is much better on PC, but if you don't have a PC and you just want to play it, there it is. And that's just that one page, and you can get all of these games for the price of that one on the Xbox One. It is such a good value for money console, even though the top end is starting to fly, and we've had a look at games that have well in excess of 50 quid right now. The lower end of this console has some absolute gems. As this video was run on far too long, I actually wanted it to be like a 12-minute video. It's now like 25 or something stupid. I will go into CEX and look at other platforms and indeed the 360 to see what they have. Of course, I do look for promo copies. I can't do that online. I do look for steel tins and slip covers. Can't do that online. So in the next few days, I will go into town, have a little look around, and I'll bring you that video. We'll have a tour, if you will, of CEX. And then after that, maybe I'll do that video explaining where I've been, show you some pickups, show you some things I'm trimming in the collection. If you've been into CEX recently, or maybe you've been looking at the prices here and noticed something, they've gone up, they've come down, maybe your game that you've just bought has gone up, maybe you've been putting off buying it and now it's a stupid price, let me know in the comments. If you want to check out another video from me, you can click here, and until the next time, goodbye.